Hi, I'm Matt with Dirt Road Cred, and in today's Distinction Applied installation video, we're going to show you how to install the Cowl panel on your 2018 and newer Jeep Wrangler JL, as well as your 2020 and newer Jeep Gladiator. The Cowl panel that we've got laid out in the table here is a completely factory panel, and if you guys have one on your Jeep currently, you know that they are in a flat black color originally, and they tend to fade very badly over the years. These Cowl panels are completely sanded and then finished in your choice of either a factory paint color, a hydrographic dip pattern, or even an accent color of anyone on our site. The installation time is very quick on these, and it drastically improves the look of the outside of your Jeep. The only tools you're going to need to get these installed are going to be simply a 15mm socket, a trim panel removal tool, and then you just have to pull your wiper blades off. Without further ado, let's show you how to get this installed on our 2025 Jeep Wrangler. So we're now at our Jeep, and the first step of this installation is actually to remove the factory windshield wipers from the base here. You're going to use a trim removal tool or a small flathead screwdriver and just go right underneath the cap, just like so, and pop these off. Now these are only held on by tension onto the 15mm nut that goes onto this stud. The cool thing about this installation is that you can do all of it with just your factory toolkit. If you open this up, you'll see that you have a few tools in here. This one here is a 15mm, and you're gonna use the factory ratchet as well as that 15mm, and you can pull the nut off of both sides. Simply insert this into here, turn it to off, and you can remove the 15mm nut. Now, if yours are a little bit corroded, if it's an older Jeep and you have some sun fading, you might have to pry on this a little bit more or use a windshield wiper puller tool. It's a small jaw that you can actually use to get that to remove. However, with ours, being that it's a 2025, it should be pretty simple. Once you have it to this point, go ahead and pull your wiper blade out to about here. Give it a little bit of a pull, and it'll pop right off. One thing to note is that these do have a spline inside of here that matches up to the spline on the actual stud. When you go to install these back at the end, which we'll show you, you want to make sure you put it at the right spot, because if you put it like this and you flip it down, doesn't work so well. So we'll show you at the end, but you'll repeat this process on both sides and remove your windshield wiper blade. This would also be the same process if you went to flip your windshield down, so that's why they give you the tool in the kit. Now that we've got both windshield wiper blades off of the vehicle, it's time to remove the actual factory cowl panel. Once again, using our trim removal tool to make quick work of this. I just wanted to note already, you can kind of see some fading or some discoloration right on the front of this, and that's crazy because this Jeep is less than 2 months old. My dad's, his is 2 years old, and his was completely faded across. So this is not only a really good looking mod, but also a mod that's gonna make your Jeep look better by replacing a faded panel. Now with this trim tool, go under this edge right here and just start working it all the way around. It works well to use a trim tool, that way you don't scratch up your Jeep. The only section I will say to be a little bit more careful in will be this center section, because it can bend for both the removal as well as the install. And then as well, be aware that you have to pop this over the windshield wiper stud here. So we're just gonna work under this one. And you can pull them up by hand, just be careful. They are pretty sharp. Once I have it to about that point, I'm about at the furthest edge I can reach. I'm gonna go over to the other side and get the rest of them off. And just like so, we have them all removed, and you can pull this off. Now, there is a good shot of all the push pins. We did drop one in, so this one actually ripped off of here. On the Distinction Applied panel, these will all have new push pins. Just make sure that none of those alligator clips got stuck in the plastic. Now we've actually still got this one stuck in, it retained in its location. We will pull this out with a pair of pliers, reinstall it onto our old cowl panel, because the brand new one does include all new clips, but if you leave this in here, it will not be able to push the new one in. So just check that and make a quick look at your cowl panel before installing the new one. Now before we install our brand new panel, I'll give you a little pro tip. While you have this off, use a little quick detailer, clean all this out. My old Jeep actually had a whole leaf and all sorts of debris down there. It can get pretty dirty, so clean it up before you go to reinstall this. But then we're gonna take our brand new panel, make sure you have it in the proper orientation. The further distance over here, you can just look at where these sit. This is gonna be the passenger side. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna lay it lightly into place. We wanna get our wiper studs through both of the holes. So that's kind of important for us right in the beginning. And I'm just lining it up, right? Like I'm just getting it in the right location. I'm looking at where all the clips should sit. And you can see this is pretty close to where it needs to be. Once I have the clips where I'm happy, just start working it down through. This center section you want to be a little bit more gentle with just because there is not as much material there. As you're working it across, get it as far as you can, and then we'll go over to the other side and we'll push the rest down. A super simple installation of this product. So there are splines on the stud here that connects to the windshield wiper. They're gonna go into this location right here, and it actually has only certain ways that can go on. So what you wanna do is you'll go ahead and put this on to the stud there. You can kind of feel where it wants to drop in. And then what I normally do when I'm doing these is I kind of don't put it on all the way, but I flip it down to see where it will kind of sit once it's installed. So once I've got that exactly where I want it to be, it is in the spline, so it's not moving at all. You can take your 15mm nut, install it back onto the stud, just hand tightening it. Then using your 15mm socket with your factory Jeep toolkit, go ahead and snug it up. And what I like to do is also hold onto the wiper stalk there so it doesn't move. Check for proper orientation, which we have on there on the windshield wiper. And then once you're done with that, give it one last little snug and put the cap back on into place. This can only go on in a few different ways. It's got a little star pattern that actually clicks in. Push that down and repeat the same process on the other side. After about 10 or 15 minutes, we've got our brand new Distinction Applied Color Match cowl panel installed on our 2025 Jeep Wrangler. This is a super simple installation as well as a very clean mod that really changes up the way that your Jeep looks, and it can reduce that amount of fading that you've got on your factory panel. This is a simple way and a really cool way to change up your Jeep, and thank you guys so much for watching this installation video. If you've picked up one of these cowl panels, thank you for making your Jeep distinct with Distinction Applied.